Welcome to Winning Hand, the podcast about Marvel Champions, one card at a time. My name is Boom Guy. Thanks everybody for listening and watching. Welcome to our Platinum Jubilee episode of Winning Hand. For those of you who don't know, that is 75 years. We haven't been doing this 75 years. It's only been 75 episodes, but it still counts. Anyway, thank you for being with us today. We are going to get right into it. I have a new guest for a second week in a row. We have a fresh guest. We will introduce him in just a minute. We will go through a listener email. We'll talk about what we've been playing recently. As always, we will finish our deep dive on She-Hulk. This is the fourth and final episode of the deep dive. So at the end, we'll have some kind of final thoughts overall on the hero kit, not just the card of the day. And then we'll end off with our decks that we showed off that we built for this episode, and we'll go through those. So without further ado, if you are still listening at this point, it's been more than 30 seconds, you could have already left a 5-star review, but you didn't, and you're caught. So take the time right now, 30 seconds, please leave a written review. And if you can't do that, or if you've already done that and want to know how else to support the show, I will accept you using word of mouth to tell other people about the show. That's honestly the easiest way for you to support the show, is tell someone else who might not know about us, who might enjoy us, that we're out here. Now let's get into the hosts of the day. I have my usual co-host, Lazy Titan. How you doing, man?
How's it going?
Yeah, you're a founding member of the podcast, and you're still here.
I am still here. One of the two.
We've lost a few along the way. The road behind us is paved with the corpses of former co-hosts, but let's move on from that. I also have a new guest. One of the co-hosts of the R-rated Stunned and Confused podcast. He is the fresh draft pick to my seasoned veteran. He's the Frodo to my Bilbo, Krautbammer. How's it going, man?
I'm doing good, man. Thanks for having me on. I'm stoked to be on a real podcast. So
hey, so I don't know who's got the real podcast around here, but I stole a bit from your intro, if you noticed.
Yeah, it's great. I think it's good.
Did I nail
think it was awesome.
All right.
When you come on mine, I've already got one workshop for you. So I'm ready.
Cannot wait.
I cannot spoil it.
So anybody who has not listened to Stunned and Confused, actually, why don't we just do that right now? Krautbammer, why don't you introduce yourself briefly, tell us what you do, your content, where to find you, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I'm Krautbammer, or Jesse is my first name. So I co-host the Stunned and Confused podcast with my friend Joe. And it's kind of just a silly mix of stuff. It is not family friendly. So for your audience, I do want to let folks know that if they tune over to Stunned and Confused, they got to, be ready for some not safe for work content. But we have a fun time. So we just have a cosmic gumbo of stuff going on over there. We just, slap some mics on and have a fun time recording. So.
Yeah, that's awesome. And I'm glad you warned everybody about the not safe for work content. Some content creators have a Patreon to further support them, and some have an OnlyFans. I won't say which one you are.
Oh, no.
Hey, I'm just saying, we'll move on from that.
I need the cash, so whatever. No.
I am both stunned and confused now. Thank you. All right, so let's get into, before we meet you and do our standard list of questions we ask every first-time guest, I asked you to do a content creator shout-out. We usually do one every episode. I do as many as I can. I try to find all the content that I can. Again, if you are a content creator, a new content creator, and need a shout-out or would like a shout-out, or if you know of someone who would like to be shouted out or should be shouted out, please let me know, winninghandpodcast@gmail.com. But Mr. Krautbammer, what did you come up with us today?
So, a lot of times when I'm driving to work and things like that, I have to listen to my own podcast now just to edit it and things like that to get that in. So usually a written word Marvel Champions content is kind of my lane right now. So I've been reading a lot of, they go by Heroic Skeleton on Discord, or Skelly. They have a blog called Caught Off Guard, and they have 5-6 minute read articles that they post every now and then. And I just, really enjoy, taking 5 minutes off of my day at work just to read some Marvel Champions content. They do a lot of good stuff. They do like niche cards. They did a glossary of terms that the community likes to use, which I found extremely helpful, because if you're ever on the Discord for any length of time, it's like people are throwing around acronyms that I still have no idea what they are. I got to try to Google it, which doesn't help. So, Heroic Skeletons got me there. So, I really appreciate their content.
Awesome. That's a great recommendation. And for those of you listening at home, he did shoehorn a recommendation in for a podcast at the start of that. I asked him to recommend somebody, and his first recommendation was his own podcast on his way to work, and his second was Heroic Skeleton. So, Crop Hammer,
Didn't mean to.
the most humble man I know. Thanks for recommending both of those. I'll leave a link in the description if you're watching this on YouTube, or in the show notes if you are listening to this, if you're a real one. So check that out. Heroic Skeleton, I can also recommend. That's a good dude. I don't think that's one we've recommended yet, so good shout there.
Sweet.
All right, Crowdbammer, let's get to know you. I got a couple quick fire questions. So first up, sir, who is your favorite hero in Marvel Champions?
So that's a tough question. It's kind of like, you got like a top 4 or 5, but if I had to pick one, it would be Magic. I think Magic is she's extremely strong, but she's one of those that, like, the more brain power you put into her, the more you can get out. She's not as one track as like a Doctor Strange. That's just like, I'm playing my invocation deck until I win. Magic has a lot more thinkiness to her. And I don't know, it always jived with me. After playing her 2 or 3 times, it just hooked me, and I've never had more fun with a hero than Magic.
I know you're a Cyclops guy from listening to your podcast, right? Also?
Yeah, Cyclops is like probably number 2 in there as well. But yeah, Magic, I don't know. There was something. It was almost like, Nick. I don't like Nick Fury a lot. Like, I played him at first, I was like, I don't get this at all. And the more I played him, the less I liked him. Magic had the inverse effect, and the more I play her, the more she grows on my list. You can't go up from 1, but that's where she's at. So.
Yeah, that's a fair point.
When you said it was your Jubilee episode to start off, I thought you were making a Jubilee reference, and I was like, well, 2 Jubilee lovers
I should have
here.
been, because you are a Jubilee stan, a fellow enjoyer of fine things.
Exactly.
Where does she fall on your list? Not 1 or 2?
Top 10, probably top 10. 6,
Okay.
7, 8, somewhere in there.
Okay,
So
that's solid.
Yeah.
I've been enjoying the heck out of Jubilee recently, and for a while, so she just grows and grows on me. Do you have a favorite aspect?
Yeah, aggression. I know Lazy Titan is a fellow aggression lover as well, so maybe I'm scoring some brownie points here.
Yeah, I love that.
Sure.
It's been climbing for me. I think I mentioned in our last episode, it used to be protection for me. Aggression might be pushing for number 1 these days. It's really grown. I've really started to enjoy kind of pushing tempo and pushing damage in just a new way, and it might be my favorite these days. So, good call.
Yeah.
Do you have a favorite scenario? I think
Project
I know what
Wide
you're gonna
Awake
say.
or In Sabah Noor. Probably
Okay.
one of those 2.
I thought you were going to
So-
say ESN. I thought that was going to be the one, because I listened to the podcast. I listened.
Yeah, In Sabah Noor is probably my favorite. I like the form flipping. Like, if you're playing a status hero, it's always fun. Like, when the counters are building up, it's like, do I try to status him now? If he goes, giant form and gets stalwart, how am I gonna play that and make it work? So I like the thinkiness of In Sabah Noor there. So.
Yeah, I think that's a really fun one. And the community, I think, quite enjoys that one as well. And then your most common and or favorite player count.
Yeah, I'm a solo guy. So in my part of the world, there's just not a lot of Marvel Champions players for the most part. So I play mostly solo. I enjoy every 2-handed game I play, and when I get to play multiplayer, I like it. But just because it's just me here, I mostly play solo.
But do you play true solo mostly?
Yeah, sorry, true solo is what I'm playing. 2-handed, it's fun, but man, it just gets to be, like at the end of a long day, it gets to be too much brain burn. It like really taxes the amount of stuff I want to keep track of in a Marvel Champions game. So
I totally agree. I mean, I think I've said on the record in the podcast before, I really enjoy multiplayer more than true solo. But when I'm playing by myself, I like to play one. Like, I enjoy the experience of more heroes, but I don't enjoy the process of playing more than one hero at a time, if that makes sense. Like, it's just, I'm juggling 2 decks and 2 strategies and 2 like sets of cards. It's just easier for me to focus on one. But the game I find more enjoyable if it's multi. That doesn't make any sense. Basically, I like it all.
No, I'm with you though. I like to see like how other people are playing the game. I don't necessarily just want to like play both sides of the same. It feels weird. It's not like a true multiplayer game where it just, I don't know. It doesn't jive with me either. So
100%. I totally agree with you. Okay. Well, let's move into a listener email then, and we'll discuss this. I think we're all going to have some thoughts here. So let me read this, and then we'll discuss. So, dear laziest of titans and
That's me.
boomiest of guys.
That's you.
Marvel Champions is not my wife's favorite game, but she is well aware that it is mine. When she agrees to play with me, she does have a good time, but chafes at delays in the game and strict adherence to turn order. When we play with our friends, which is 2 to 3 times a year, strict adherence to turn order makes the game take much longer than my wife and friends have the stomach for. My solution has been to house rule simultaneous play. We all take our turns simultaneously and can play cards and use activations in whatever order we like. Maybe we get a slight advantage against the villain this way, but it's a clear win for our table. My question is this: what house rules do you use to make your table more fun for your groups, or what rules did you routinely break without knowing better once upon a time? Thank you for everything you do. The People, it's signed. Also signed in parentheses, football coach. So house rules is the topic here. Lazy Titan, I haven't heard from you yet today, so why don't you kick it off? Do you have any house rules that you enjoy or rules that you don't like to break?
I am a simultaneous turns enjoyer. I find that to be kind of the only way to play. I feel like if you don't, it does take a lot longer. And even with simultaneous turns, a 4-player game can take hours. So it's been a while since I played a multiplayer game where we took individual turns and went along. But I would always prefer to not do that for sure. I'm also not a big unique rule guy. I don't care that much, to be honest. It's not worth that to me.
So unique rule and simultaneous play. Crop-Hammer, what say you?
Yeah, I don't do too many house rules. As much as I have a meme podcast, I try to follow the rules for the most part. The one I don't like is if you're forcing me to have an ally, like a Taskmaster or like a Project Wide Awake. If you give me an ally with a certain trait, I'm not going to let that turn off my Utopia or something like that. Does that make sense?
Your Uncanny X-Men or Mighty Avengers
exactly.
or whatever.
Exactly. So if you're forcing me to take an ally once in the game, I'm not going to turn off my supports for that. That's my one.
That's fair. I think I've never done that before, but now that you say that, I think that's a pretty smart idea. Lazy Titan, your thing about simultaneous play, I agree to a degree. I do think I don't do true simultaneous play. I still stay within the rules. So if there's things you can do off turn, like when you request actions or whatever, I say just go for it, right? Use your Avengers Mansion to draw your card so you can start planning your turn, or go ahead and do your Champions Mobile Bunker, or, your spiritual meditation. Just, start doing all those things to spin your wheels, turn your gears to get your turn moving. But I do stop short. You can't flip alter ego or hero out of turn. You can't activate certain things out of turn. I will stick to that. My biggest house rule is, and I think I've talked about this before, the symbiote suit. If you play a symbiote suit in our game,
True,
you are getting the encounter card. If you play the suit, you take the encounter card. And I know there are some people who push back on this in Discord. That's fine. And I think the math of it changes, right? In a 4-player game, you're getting essentially 20% more encounter cards. You go from 4 to 5. That's not a huge deal to me. In a 2-player game, I'm getting half of the encounter cards to deal with on my own while you get all of the benefit, right? The player who plays the symbiote suit is not sharing their health pool with me. They're not sharing their card draw with me. They're just passing me half of the responsibility. And I played enough 2-player games with people who use the suit pretty liberally that I decided the house rule is if you play it, you take the card. And most people are like, oh yeah, it's fine. It's whatever. But that's my big house rule.
That's
I never play symbiote.
That we have done so much that I forget that that's even a house rule.
Yeah. What are you going to say, Crop-Hammer?
I've never played symbiote suit, so there we go. That's the problem solved there.
You don't play symbiote suit. Why not? You just don't like it?
I'm a chicken about hazard icons. That's the huge chicken, so I'm not going to do that.
But True Solo, it just doubles your encounter cards. That's really rough. You have to really make it work. I think the symbiote suit, we did a whole episode on it a long time ago. My views have maybe evolved a little bit from there, but I think it's a card that you want to use purposefully. There's definitely a reason to include it. I feel like some people put it in every deck. They just slap it in. I feel like unless you really need all the different components, it's not worth it, right? If you just want a larger hand size because you're greedy, and that's fine, we all are greedy, just play an Avengers Mansion.
Just play Magic. No, I'm just kidding.
It's the same thing. Or play Magic. She has an extra hand size. Sorcerer Supreme. If you need the stat boosts, why can't you do it with Armored Vest and Combat Training and Heroic Intuition? Why do you need all the stat boosts? And if you need health, I think Endurance generally is going to be enough, and you could add some healing. So I just don't think, unless you need all of it, it's not worth playing, in my mind. I'm not a huge fan of the card, though. But I know Keiko, shout out Keiko, former founding member. Well, no, still a founding member, but former member. He played it in every deck, just slapped it in.
Is that why the house rule was invented for him?
I believe it was invented for me.
It was invented. I wasn't going to call you out, Lazy Titan. I wasn't going to call you out, but
invented for me.
We played a lot of 2-player, and you used it a lot early on, and I just got sick of taking The encounter card. That's how
Fair
that
enough.
started out. I wasn't going to call you out, LT, but you called yourself out. So here we are.
It's what it's for,
But Keiko also, every deck. It doesn't matter what hero, just slapping it in. But he also doesn't defend, famously. He just tanks every hit, so those 10 hit points were important.
It means a lot to him.
Yeah, he's a guy. He's a guy. Shout out Keiko if you're listening. I know you're not. Okay. Let's move on to what we've been playing recently. And guests, I'll allow you to go first. Krautbammer, why don't you tell us, what have you been playing recently?
Apart from She-Hulk, I've been playing a lot of Miss Marvel.
Ooh, okay.
Miss Marvel, I've had trouble with in the past because I got her early on in my Marvel Champions journey, and I didn't fully appreciate her form flipping or her alter ego supports, which is really the beef of her kit, in my opinion, now. So, I've been kind of on a journey of dusting off my lower ranked heroes on my Pub Meeple list, that came out a couple weeks ago.
Yes.
So I've been on a journey of trying to refresh some of my opinions on some of my lower tiered heroes. So Miss Marvel was up on deck next. So I've been playing a lot of her. And man, I've been having a blast playing her. I don't know if she's like super good or like gets me excited to like push her into my top 10 or anything like that. But Lay Down the Law was a card I haven't played with a lot. I just randomly slapped it in a Miss Marvel Justice deck, and that's been great. Like storing it with Bruno, flipping up, getting it, flipping up, playing it. It's like, it was just a lot of fun to like not have to rely on status with her cards. They're all just like, these do the adequate amount of thwart and damage that they're supposed to do. But with her shrink and big thing, it was a lot of fun, man. I just really had a blast with playing Miss Marvel.
She has some crazy decks. I think she is really good. And I think that is just a case study in awesome hero design, to be totally honest. Like, I think she's designed really well up and down her kit. We did do an episode on Red Dagger, so Skull
I know
Emoji.
you guys aren't Red Dagger fans, right?
Not a huge fan. Not a huge fan. But the rest of her kit is awesome. Go ahead.
I think her alter ego stuff is where it really shines. Like just being able to continually flip back and forth, where I wasn't a huge fan of flipping heroes, and now I'm on a She-Hulk episode. I wasn't a huge fan of flipping heroes, but now I've kind of grown, and I really enjoyed that part of it. So
yeah, I used to be known as a guy who didn't flip much. That has changed. I flip a lot more than I used to. I think Miss Marvel's cool. She has like her central hook of boosting events and recurring events is just a hook that is going to grow throughout the life of the game. That's just awesome. Like, as long as there are events that attack and thwart, she's going to have ways to use them in different ways than every other hero. I think it's just really great, using things like aggressive energy just to like further boost it. Anything that splits, right, is great for her because she can split it. Melee, you can add to aggressive energy, adds more. Like, you can just go crazy with it. I think that's a fun puzzle. So I used to play her a lot. I think the first kind of heroes, Lazy Titan, I brought her and played her a ton.
Yes.
I don't know. I kind of fell off the Miss Marvel wagon. I'm not sure why. I like her, but there's 60 heroes or whatever, and she's just not one I reach for a lot.
Yeah.
So, Lazy Titan, you want to go next? What have you been playing recently?
Recently, I mentioned this on the last episode, I have been tinkering further with my Nova protection deck.
Okay.
I have finally gotten it to the little table, and we have tried it out. It has legs. I think it has a future. It's not there for sure. My first on the table draft had first hit in it. I think was a flop for me. I was like, oh, finally a card I can play. Don't think I'll be using that again. I maybe went a little too heavy on the upgrades because I wanted to go for all the good protection upgrade stuff, but Nova's kind of a hit the ground running kind of a hero, so maybe we just lean into that a little more. But in general, I think when it worked, and being able to be to take advantage of even more Nova Force was really good, because obviously Nova Force, I've said before, is one of the best cards in the game. It's his best card easily. It's really strong, and with Miss Marvel, you can pretty consistently keep it around for 4 turns, which means you get 4 hero and villain phases of using all your good Nova stuff, so you can play it on the villain's turn. You can do your powerful punches and your defense card, your force field projections, but also on your turn you can get your pot shots and your light speed flights and all the good stuff you have. So if I can get a way to consistently make it like kind of work every time, I think it's got some real legs.
I think you, I played at least a game with you where you're testing that deck. You didn't have Pinpoint in there. He's one I would try to sneak in. And also defensive energy. That's what I think about.
Defensive energy, I think, is good. Pinpoint only recycles your upgrades, so I'm not...
Anything, well, it could also recycle Miss Marvel, right? It's anything that leaves
It can also
play.
recycle Miss Marvel, so that could be good. I was also thinking about maybe just throwing Indomitable in there.
Which it also recycles that.
That's what I'm thinking, to recycle with that, just because that's another way to ready.
And
but I wasn't feeling like starved for readies, especially because his own... Anticipation might be a good shout, but his own defense card doesn't require you to be readied. So I can always rely on that as the last part of my chain. But using the helmet to pay for a card, so defend, pay for a card, ready it, and then if I ready myself again, I can just keep... The helmet feels very good with Desperate Defense, because you just end up with no damage, and you're readied and your helmet's readied again.
Yeah.
His stats are a little low if you're not playing aggression or justice. You can't get him to 2. So on the villain's turn, you're not doing your crazy, like, thwart for 2, ready, thwart for 2, ready. But that's fine. You're defending for 3. His card's good. Powerful Punch was kind of an all-star. Very good to just insta-kill minions. It also triggers Full Like Water and Electrostatic Armor because you did play a defense card. It also triggers Unflappable, all the good stuff. But yeah, it was mainly built around Change of Fortune is what we're trying to do. We're trying to change a fortune. So if I can get it right, I can defend. If I just Powerful Punch a minion, I can draw a card off Unflappable, draw 2 cards off Change of Fortune, draw another card off of Nova Force, and then ready myself. And then my helmet's ready and I'm readied. And so I'm up cards and I'm doing all this stuff.
So good.
And when it works, but I need to make it more consistent.
Yeah. No, and it was solid. It's a good first draft. I have gone back to a core set hero that I have not played very much of and not
She-Hulk?
Traditionally enjoyed. I mean, I've been playing a lot of She-Hulk, but setting that aside, because I've been testing all these decks, I built one every week, and these may be the final She-Hulk decks of my career, but let's get to that later. I've been playing a lot of Black Panther, who historically I'm not a huge fan of. I thought his hook was kind of fun in the core set, but I just felt like it didn't age very well, and it always feels the same. It's just like I play Wakanda Forever. Like, that's the whole thing. There are other things you can do. Right? There's weapons, you can do firepower, mean swing, there's all kinds of stuff you can do with that. But I decided to go back to him for reasons that will become clear in a few episodes when I share a deck. But I've actually been enjoying him quite a bit. He has made me go back to Shuri as well, and I think I realized that of the two, I prefer T'Challa over Shuri.
Same.
I think Shuri is an interesting evolution of that idea, and they definitely feel like they share the same DNA, but if I have to choose one, I will choose the original Black Panther. So I've been playing a bunch of him in a few different aspects and been enjoying it more than I thought I would. So the core set, man, holds up. I'll be honest. It's 5-6 years, whatever it's been. It's still, and the villains, just like banging.
God. Yeah.
Love the villains.
So good.
Big
Go back
Claw
Claw
fan.
Same.
Well, everyone knows Claw.
Rhino was fun. I have not played Rhino without the Return to Rhino set in a long time, but
he's a little one note, I find.
I mean,
he's the one I play.
He's just like a big dumb guy, but he is.
What is the Return to Rhino set?
It's a custom set made by the MCM, the Marvel Champions monthly guys.
Okay.
I won it at the first Card of Heroes. It's on their website. You can get it, but it's like a 6-card set. It just really beefs him up. So I only play it with that now. It makes him a lot more scary.
Makes him challenging.
Yeah, agreed. But yeah, but Ultron is one people sleep on. Ultron's really good.
And he's always scarier than you think he is.
Yes.
Every time you think about playing Ultron, at least for me, I'm like, oh, they're just 1 health. Like, you can clear him with so much stuff. Now you have Dive Bomb, you have Nova, you have all this stuff. And then you get to that third phase, you're playing him on Expert, and he gets those 2 health drones, and then suddenly they're kind of scary. Suddenly they're kind of annoying.
Scheme cannot be removed from the final...
Countdown
so you can't remove Scheme, and you also can't deal damage to him. So you just keep having to do this stuff.
It's tough.
And doesn't he either you get a drone or he gets another boost card as this thing, right? I think it's somebody else.
He puts threat, maybe? I don't remember exactly.
Oh, yeah, you either put threat or take another drone.
I still get like scared to this day thinking about playing Ultron just for like my core set days, like him just driving me into the ground over and over again. It's like, I don't know if I can do Ultron right now.
If you play Nova into Ultron, it's kind of free, but just don't do that. Or Rocket's even less egregious than Nova, because Nova you can just sweep it every turn and draw your whole deck. But what does work very effectively against Ultron is Ground Stomp
which is a card that belongs to She-Hulk.
Which is the hero. Incredible segue. Just really
professionals, folks.
Thank you. Segues are always better, as you say, Liz Dighton, when you shout them out. So
exactly.
Okay, so we are going to talk about the card of the day now. Let's shift. So I will share the card of the day and Krautbammer as the guest. If you would not mind, please reading the card, and then we'll get into discussing it. So
sure.
Here we are.
So this is Gamma Slam. It is a 4-cost event. It is an attack and superpower traded. Hero action, attack, deal X damage to an enemy to a maximum of 15. X is the amount of damage you have sustained. The flavor text is, you messed with the wrong woman.
And it is a mental resource if you choose to spend it. And it's obviously from the core set. I don't have to keep saying that. The art here, which I will have our guest describe for us momentarily, the art is from Hulk Volume 4, Number 5. It's the cover from 2016. So why don't you describe for people who are listening to this, and as an audio podcaster yourself, you know how important description is. So be descriptive and tell us, what are we looking at here?
So first off, I found out this art is not in black and white. This is from a run of comics, Googling this, that she was a gray She-Hulk, apparently, on this run of comics, instead of her usual green self. But it looks like a black and white. It's a very, very, very buff She-Hulk. She's got, like, energy waves, like, like flying off of her muscles, and she's doing a huge double-fisted slam into the ground. Looks like there could possibly be some sort of like earthquake-type cataclysm happening in the background as she's bringing her fist to the ground. So
yeah, was that good? Got like green eyes. She's like yelling, growling. She's just like squatting
extremely
down,
fierce.
Like she's slamming the ground, like you said. Yeah, just like shoulders and biceps. Again, I question if she's natty, but I don't know.
That's where I'm trying to get, man,
Hey, man, I get it. I got to get to her her trainer, whatever.
Her workout plan.
Yeah, I need to get on the workout plan because she's just yoked, absolutely yoked. But yeah, it is very gray. It looks like black and white at first, but there's like splashes of blue on her muscles and then green in her eyes. But yeah, this is fierce. I think this art is incredible. What do you guys think?
I like it a lot. I don't love the kind of zoomed in. I kind of wish we had kind of more of a zoomed out so we could see more of the effect of the slam. It's very zoomed in on just her. But for what we get, I like it a lot. The not quite grayscale is very cool. Because you still have the green eyes and the, I guess it looks like the stripe of the road, the yellow line. And then, the muscles have some kind of blue energy field or, glowing with power. But it's mostly grayscale. I like that. I think it's a cool pose. Again, big fan of the jacked She-Hulk vibe rather than just Green Lady. So, can't complain.
Yeah. Krautbammer?
Yeah, I mean, this could be a lot of Hero's best art. She's got a lot of great art in her kit. That's the crazy thing is playing through her cards. It's like she has phenomenal art left, right, and center here.
Yes.
So this may be her third best art, but it's still absolutely incredible. Absolutely love the art on this card. So you feel the card as you play it, right? Like this just it hits. The art hits right.
Totally agree. And I said this last episode or the episode before, she may have, or she is among the best art collection for a hero, just top to bottom. I don't think she has anything that's bad. I think she has, we talked about superhuman strength last episode, awesome art. We're talking about Gamma Slam today, awesome art. We talked about split personality. That might be the single best art piece in the entire game. I love it.
For sure.
She has other ones like Superhuman Law Division is perfectly passable. Focus Rage is good. What else do you have? 1-2 Punch is solid. Legal Practice, I think, works. I just don't think she has any bad art. Ground Stomp is great too. Yep. Yeah. She just has really good art across the board. Hellcat is fine. And that's probably her weakest. But yeah, she's got really great art. I mean, the only one that I can think of that's really in that top tier with her is War Machine. I know Liz, you're a big fan of War Machine's art.
Big fan of War Machine art. Specifically, I will stand by, I think War Machine has the best hero art in the game. But his other cards are also very cool. I like Target Acquired. I like... what's the big attack one?
Full Auto.
Full Auto.
Full Auto. I love those. But yeah, War Machine's hero art, I think, is for me, the undisputed GOAT.
Yeah. I mean, I think She-Hulk is right up there for me. So I'm glad you mentioned that she has good art across the board, because she does. It's all like really varied too.
Yeah, it's very different styles.
And like interesting styles. Like she has maybe the most interesting, or like this doesn't look like a comic book even. This is like, it's like a sketch. It's really cool. Split Personality is like a body horror movie, like a frame. Like it's just so good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That's like super, super strong. But yeah, anything else to say about this art?
Not really. It's pretty good.
I've just like said it all. It's awesome. Let's move on to the theming of this card. So when we talk about the theme of a card, we're talking about the cost, the title, the flavor text, the traits, the effect of it, the art, everything together. When we look at this, does this feel like Gamma Slam, Crop Bammer? Like, does it all feel like the theme works?
Yes, I got to try to like section off my brain from the mechanics of it. This feels like the big final smashing the villain over the head. You know, the big defeating card, the big slam dunk card. So, I mean, I think this is a thematic home run. Like this is exactly, you're making her more angry. The angrier you make her, the harder she's going to hit back. Yeah, I think this is one of the best theme cards in her kit.
LT?
I also agree. I've talked about this card on, I would say, a surprising number of episodes of this podcast, because it has one of my least favorite lines of text on all of the cards in the game. We'll talk about that later, but I like it. It costs 4, which gameplay wise is not the best, but it feels like it's your big go all out smash hit. Yeah. You can't even play it if you haven't flipped up from Jen Walters, so it feels like you have to Hulk up to do it. So if you're just in She-Hulk form already, you can't get angry enough. You got to really go all out. And then superpower helps with the cost of it, and then also the purple and green border is one of the better ones. It's a great combo, and it looks great with the grayscale. I can picture this art in my head since it came out. It's great.
It's so good.
It just is a great Hulk card for any Hulk, really.
Yeah, I think I lose a little bit of theme because of the mental resource. I don't know why this isn't a physical resource.
Yeah.
It just would feel a little more thematic to what it's doing. But I really love what you said about how it's like your big final blow, right? And that's what it feels like. And I think the cost helps with that, right? As a 4-cost card, it is effectively for a 4-hand set 0. It's beyond your ability to even pay for it under normal circumstances, right? Unless you draw a double or have a resource generator on the table. So that also makes it feel like this is like your big push. You're going to like Hulk out to the max and just go crazy. So I think the cost really helps with that. The title's great. The superpower and attack trait, like all of it works together. And I love the flavor text as well. So theming, I think, is really, really strong here. That other than only nit I can pick is the resource type if you choose to spend it.
Yeah, that doesn't even really make sense, but hey.
And she needs those for her legal practice, I guess, or for her superhuman
But of all the cards, this feels like the one to not be.
Yeah.
But again, that's the only nit I can find to pick.
That's it. That's all I have. But I'm going to let you start with Power, Lazy Titan, because I know you have a bone to pick there. So let's get kind of into the mechanics of it here. What is your issue?
I have a big bone to pick with this card. I always have. And that is right in the middle there where it says to a maximum of 15. I've said it on probably 5 or 10 episodes. I agree that it's best to limit the game where possible. It's best to put limits on things in the effort to maintain kind of power creep and keep the balance of the game. But this card specifically, I will never, other than the fact that it's a core set, I'll never understand why Hulk, who is famous for limitless power based on anger, has a limit when the limit of this card already exists. It's your health pool. This card already has a built-in risk-reward system of how low are you willing to get your health to do the most damage. And if I want to, at the time Symbiote Suit didn't exist, but now it does. If I want to play Symbiote Suit, if I want to play Endurance, if I want to do all these things to buff my hit points, so I have 27 hit points, and then I go all the way down to 1, and I want to pay 4 for 26. Good for you, man. Like, go for it. Yeah. That's what the Hulk should feel like. And I just don't think that this... I don't see why this had to be limited. It costs 4. once you're paying 4 for a card, it's already like not the strongest, so you might as well just go all out. That's my only real bone to pick with this. Aside from that, it also, like I said, does have a risk built in with the power of the card, right? If you're doing this for 4 for 14, it's pretty good. But again, you're at 1 health then, so you're risking it. Realistically, it's hard to pull off at once. You're probably somewhere between 3 and 5. That means you're doing 4 for 9 to 12, which is fine. 4 for 9 is not great. 4 for 12 is pretty good. That's decent, but it's not incredible. So it feels kind of bad unless you can. With Symbiote Suit now, it feels pretty all right to be at 25 hit points or whatever and go down to 10 and then do this for 15.
Yeah.
It feels fine, but also feels like against the spirit of it, the risk reward factor. I don't know. It misses the mark a little bit on power. For the core set, it was big. So if we judge it for its time, it was the big damage card. But I think now it's just kind of, it doesn't keep up with the modern curve. And really, we had Swinging Web Kick. It honestly didn't even keep up at the time.
Well, Crowdbammer, this is a living card game, so we would expect things to be viable throughout the game. Is this card dead? Is the power bad here? Is he right?
You know, I'm a sucker for a game ender, and this is like the true game ender, right? Like this is, like he was talking about in the core set, this was the big damage doer. Even though it wasn't on par, it can end a game. So I'm always a sucker for cards like that, so I will give it points for that. But I do agree with to a maximum of 15. Like Jubilee, if you jump through a bunch of hoops, can do a full body charge for 16 damage. Okay? Jubilee being able to do a full body charge for 16 damage and She-Hulk not being able to Gamma Slam for the same amount is a feels bad moment for me, you know? So, yeah, if I want to jump through hoops to be able to do a 4-cost 27 damage event, let me do it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So
that's what I'm saying.
I extremely dislike the the limit on it. Again, you can see why they did it, just in case something came out later that really busted this card. But who cares if it's busted? It's a co-op card game. It would have been fun to be able to try to jump through the hoops to be able to pull off huge numbers.
Agreed. There's only one copy of it.
It's
right?
also a hero card.
Yeah.
You can only do it with She-Hulk. If this was an aspect card, I'd be way more okay with the 15 limit because that's just like, that makes sense. But you only have one in the entire game. If you own every single card, you only have one of these. You can only play it in She-Hulk.
And there's one in the deck.
I don't see it.
With a 4-hand size hero, you may get it opening turn and
you just can't play it.
Never see it again.
Like 50% of the time, you can't even play it. And if you draw this in a split personality without a resource generator, you have to discard this to get your split personality to then draw up to be able to do it again. It's just, in an already clunky hero, it feels bad to limit like the one thing you can do, right? The one
I wish I could play this
big move.
Yeah, I want to be able to play this card every game to end the game.
Exactly.
That's what I want to do because
I want this to be my game ender every time.
Supposed to be. Exactly.
Agreed. I will correct you on one thing, Crowdbammer. You have not lived until you have played Full Body Charge with Jubilee for 17.
Ooh, aggressive energy?
Aggressive energy.
Oh, you're not putting warrior skill in there? Going up to 18?
Wait,
you're
and
not
it can get
gaming like
overkill,
me
so
for real.
directed force.
You could directed force. You
For
could
half health.
And then warrior skill. And if you're doing overkill, you can do follow through. So you could
potentially do
you could
23
more.
Man. All right, we're building decks now.
So
you guys aren't gaming like me for real.
I mean, that's the way to do it.
This is a Jubilee podcast. Let's go.
Get it all that set up.
And again, the fact that Jubilee can body slam somebody for more than She-Hulk is a bit of a flavor loss for me. The fact that I can body slam someone as a wafer thin teenage girl who lives in a mall, and the Hulk can't do as much. She literally does. That's literally her story.
Look,
but mechanically, if I want to jump through those hoops and do that, I can. I want to be able to do it with She-Hulk.
And I think that's the point, right? Is that if I want to get all this stuff, and the problem with this card is that you can't even set those things up. So if you are at 1 health, like you can't even use aggressive energy to do more on this because the maximum damage is 15. So you can't even warrior skill and aggressive energy and all those things with it because that's the maximum. So I do think that is the big criticism here, right? Like that kind of sucks to have a limit like that. It seemed like a limit that didn't really matter when the game came out probably, but now that there are ways to boost your health, like you said, if I want to get my health to, 27 or 20, whatever it can get to, and I want to ride that risk all the way down and hope I draw this with 1 health, then I say go for it, right?
I say go for it.
Fun.
That's real gaming right there. I feel like
Agreed.
that's what it's all about.
That's real gamer energy.
That's real gamer energy. And she also has synergy with dealing damage to herself. That's kind of like a secondary theme for her whole kit. So she makes it kind of easy to get down there. But again, there's still the variable of the villain attack. You can't always predict what's gonna go. I don't know. I'm always in favor of, if you want to risk it, give him a biscuit, you know?
Yeah. I totally agree. I think that is the big power miss here. But other than that, I think it's good that it's a superpower. You know, you have Def Focus, which I don't think came out until later, so it wasn't out when this was printed.
I think Def Focus came out with
Galaxy's Most Wanted.
Galaxy's Most Wanted. Yeah. So that does help a little bit. Of course, Martial Prowess. I don't know if that was a core set card or not, but that's also available to help with this a little bit. She's an Avenger, so Quinn carries it. So there's ways to reduce the cost, which is helpful with those traits. But yeah, so then let's move into the final category, which is fun. How fun is this card if you have that limit and you have such an awesome theme? Krautbammer, why don't you start us off here? Like, how fun is it to play Gamma Slam?
Yeah, I think I kind of spoiled it a little bit on the power section, but again, I'm a sucker for game enders. I love those like the finale cards that just, you know, you've whittled the hero down in their second stage or their third stage and you're ready just to end the game. I love the theme comes through, the power comes through, and it all just kind of jives in one cool moment to end the game. I love that, especially with She-Hulk, who doesn't have the answers for a lot of stuff. So a lot of times there's some minions and some side schemes floating around, and you're down to 1 health to really get the most out of it. So it's like, this is it, now or never type of card. So the fun, I think, really shines through on this card. Even when it's limited, it's still a blast to play, and I love to be able to end a game with it.
Yeah. Lazy Titan?
I will agree. I love a card that you can just toss the rest of your hand, throw it down on the table, and say we win. That's always fun. A game ender that costs more, while technically worse, is always more fun to just do like the boom. Like, do we get it? Drop the villain. We just have to survive this villain phase. I'm just going to pitch my hand, throw the Gamma Slam. It's over. But if it's not that cool final turn moment, you are paying a lot for a limited ability. And I think I will dock it points on the fun because I'm not going to play it every time. Yeah. And I think that's a big part of fun is I don't think I will play this card every time I see it. I don't think I'll play it most of the time I see it because either I'm in She-Hulk form so I can't pay for it, or I'm not low enough. I'm at like 8 health and I'm not going to pay 4 for 7. It's not very good. So I'll just do something else unless I have nothing else to do. So I feel like most of the time, if this was a 3-of, I would have more opportunities to get it. But if I draw out my opening hand and I discard it, then I get through at one point I'm at 1 health and I have a full hand with doubled resources. And then I just flip down, recover, and 2 turns later, then I draw it when I'm back up to 13. Like, it's so hard to time, and there's really no way to do it. You can't, like, stack it on, I guess you could, like, store it on Black Panther, maybe, but it's just a lot of setup to go through for not a huge payoff, ultimately.
Yeah, Black Panther only works for leadership events, so that won't work here.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, one of the things I toyed with when I was building a deck for this episode is using resource reserve to stash the resource for when I draw into this to make sure I have a double like ready to go. But that feels clunky too because you just may not draw at the right time. If we're going by just base efficiency, right, and we use Swinging Web Kick as the benchmark, 4 effective resources for 8 damage, that's basically 1 for 2, means in 5 effective resources you would need to hit at least 10. And in that sense, I think the maximum 15 language does you a disservice because when you see the maximum 15, it's like waving the red cape at the bull. And now I want to hit 15, even though like 10, 11, 12 is perfect. It's over efficient. It's perfectly good. But now you're like, well, you know, can I take 1 or 2 more before I play this card? I think the fact that there's only 1 of also plays into that. So it can be a bit of a feel bad when you draw it and you're like, oh, I like just recovered last turn. It's not, you know, it's only going to hit for 8 or 9 and below that, it's not even worth considering. Like if it's below 8, like you're not even, unless you have nothing to do. So I do think that makes it less fun. And because the fun is like getting yourself to ride that edge so you can hit it for maximum. And so I wish there was 3 copies because then I would be consistently, like the game plan would be just stay there all game because I'm going to draw into this multiple times and then I want to have it and go, hey. But since there's only 1, it's very difficult to build around a 1-of card and to like predict when you'll have it. and there's really no way to like tutor it other than like Generation X, right? That tutors there's a couple of those player sides games. Generation X will pull out a identity specific card.
Keep up the pressure, I believe.
Keep up the pressure, pulls an attack event. Yeah. Still, the maximum applies because this says the maximum 15 damage. So I believe that even with Generation or Keep Up the Pressure dealing 1 extra damage every attack event, that still does not take you above 15.
Still limited.
Which is nonsense. But now we just discovered there's another way to boost full body charge with Jubilee. So warrior skill. All aggressive energy. Now I'm gonna build the deck to just play that and just
the deck that just sits there forever and does the big thing.
Yeah, I can't do anything because I need to get this.
Yeah,
all right.
I gotta get my own technique out. Gotta get the follow throughs out. Just wait.
I can't do anything yet,
guys. I promise.
I can't play with only one follow through.
Guys,
no,
give me 4 turns. I promise. Give me 4. I promise.
This is gonna be really good.
This is gonna be awesome when it happens.
And then you just celebrate. Yeah, but he has tough cards. You're like, okay. All right, well, I think it's time for us to move into final thoughts. I'm going to let Crophammer go last, so he has the final word because he's the guest. So how about I'll go first this time? I don't remember who went first last time, but I'll go first and give final thoughts. Again, we always do on, 0 to 1 to 10. I guess you could do 0 to 10. So 5 is true neutral, right in the middle. It's not a failing score. This, for me, I'm going to give a 7 out of 10. And I will just say that the theme and the art is doing a lot of lifting here for me. Because those were both so good, it's pulling it up for me. I'm going to give it a 7. It's still above average. You can deal a good amount of damage, which is what you want to do with She-Hulk anyway. But it's not as fun as it could be. And the power does suffer, although 4 for 12 or 14, whatever, is really, really good. I just don't want it to have a limit. I want it to be uncapped, So like those things pull it down a little bit for me. But at the end of the day, being objective, it still is a really good card. I'm still happy to see it on my hand when I draw it. I'm happy to play it. I'm happy to end a game with it if I can. So it's not terrible by any means, but 7 out of 10 is where I will end on this one. Lazy Titan?
I was going to say the same thing. I'm going to say 7 out of 10. However, I'm going to dock it a point because I have famous beef with this card.
Then you're not.
So I'm going to knock it down to 6.
Okay.
So that was my original answer. I'm saying 6 out of 10 official answer. I am beefing with the maximum of 15. Always have. Always
Fair.
will. Even as we're sitting
on
here,
the record.
I'm thinking of ways to get around that ability of not being able to draw it. I'm thinking maybe you taunt to just like make sure you have the right amount of health, and just keep getting attacked. But at the end of the day, you still do only get 1 copy. So even if you can like stack your health to be at 1, it's hard to stay at 1 for that many turns. So then you're just like kind of gambling, hoping that you can draw it eventually. A taunt helps. Even with a 40 card deck, it's hard to do. It just sucks to have your big game ender be a 1 of and also be a little underwhelming. So I'll give this a 6. Like Cyclops, for example, he has a 1 card, a 1 of game ender, but it's like 1 for 11, which is cool. It's like you pay 1 and you get your super blast and you do the cool thing and it's fun. And it's like, it's special. It's built off his mechanics, whereas like Rhodey has 1. You spend all your ammo, but it only costs 2, so it's a lot cheaper. It's better to weave into turns. This doesn't really have anything exceptional about it. It's just kind of a card.
All right, Crophammer, why don't you give us the final thoughts for today?
Man, now I'm going to just sound like a copycat. But I was thinking like the theme and the art carries this card, where mechanically it's pretty bad. In a vacuum, without her other abilities and flipping that she can do, it can look even worse. I think, her flipping, her wanting to flip a lot, you can get this cycled through in Alter Ego a little bit more frequently. But I'm also going to give it a 7 out of 10. I just think, having to build a deck that focuses on this card, you almost have to forget about everything else and just build your entire deck to make this card work. And it's just not a card I would like, put in the forefront of my deck a lot, because I don't necessarily like having to build everything around a single card to make it work. So that's where it's at for me.
Yeah. Okay, so we all ended up as almost the same spot. Lazy Titan pulled a little bit of a rug pull there at the end and switched to the last minute. I just want to take a few minutes. You weren't here for all the other episodes of Crophammer, but you're here for this one. So you get to have final thoughts on She-Hulk.
Right.
So, Lazy Titan, why don't you go first? Don't give us an epic LT rant, but give us some final thoughts overall on She-Hulk, the cards we talked about and the cards we didn't talk about. Like, where does she land for you?
overall, I think my Pub Meeple ranking was pretty accurate. I think I had her at 58 or something, high 50s. She was pretty down there. I have tried her a couple times. I've played her more recently. She's not super interesting. I built a deck for the first episode, but I kind of ran out of gas there, and I was kind of lost on what more to do. I'm impressed that you made it through all 4. Ultimately, it's just not a hero that has a ton of options, and I think that's partially her just a core set issue. That's not necessarily like if She-Hulk was redesigned today with effectively the same kit but just rebalanced to modern numbers, I think it would be much more interesting. But even with that, we still can't ignore the fact that like 8 of her 15 cards are not really that good. Is Superhuman, or not Superhuman, is Legal Practice a 3 of? 2 of, and then she has 3 ground stomps, right?
She has 2
ground stomps. So at least 4 of her cards are effectively unplayable. And then there's a couple more that aren't super good. And then her 2 best cards are 1-ofs, which feels bad. So you kind of just have to sift through all these mediocre cards to get the 2 cool things she can do, which is Gamma Slam and Split Personality. She has like a hero. She's got like Flip Synergy, but only has 1 card that does it. It just feels like 80% of a hero that for me, I don't like She-Hulk enough to like really fight for it and like try and get what I want out of this hero when I could just go play Ant-Man and get a fun version of a flip hero that I like more anyway and is more effective. So are we doing number ratings for these?
No,
these final
I
ones?
just wanted to kind of just some final thoughts overall.
She's fine. Not a hero I'll pick up almost ever, and if I see you play it, I'm assuming you're just like a diehard She-Hulk fan, but good for you.
I will say, I'll let Crabapper go last again as the guest. I think She-Hulk has some staunch defenders. I've spent enough time on the Discord and on Marvel CDB to know that I think She-Hulk to me stands out as one of those heroes that people will really defend She-Hulk. And I'm glad that people love She-Hulk. She-Hulk is, I just don't think for me. I've played a lot of She-Hulk this month. I have done a lot of decks, as I think I've discussed multiple times. I've built decks every week for these episodes. I've struggled to create 4 decks that to me feel different and are built around these cards. Lazy Titan touched on it with Legal Practice and Ground Stomp. I think Legal Practice is a almost unplayable card. Like, 0 cost. Okay, you choose and discard cards from your hand to remove threat, 1 for each one. It's an alter ego, so I guess it's a way to remove threat and alter ego. Maybe that keeps it from being totally unplayable. Here and there, maybe. Ground Stomp's another one that feels like a tech card for Ultron. I just don't see a lot of use for that in the modern game. 1-2 punch is cool, but does make her susceptible to stuns, I think, a lot. And then we're left with, like we said, 2 of her awesome cards, Gamma Slam and Slip Personality, are 1-of, and 1-of cards are just really hard to consistently build around. Superhuman Strength got a buff and can work, but you have to work through what feels like a loophole. We talked about that. And then Focused Rage, which may be her best card. I think that's awesome. That really draws you a card, but it costs 3. So spending 8 effective resources to get them both out and then take damage, draw a card is rough. I think it can work. Her flipping is cool. The 2 damage when she flips is interesting. I think there are cards that have come into the card pool that help her. Unshakable, Limitless Stamina. Everyone plays those cards in almost every She-Hulk deck. And there are certain other things like Ready for a Fight, I think, has breathed more life into She-Hulk again. I purposely didn't build a Ready for a Fight deck this month because I feel like that's the one everyone's building now.
I did, but
I just think, I don't know. There's a lot of things you could fix here for me, starting with making some of her better cards just more than 1-ofs. But I just don't think it's for me. So she's a hero I won't really all go back to very often, and I think that's okay. I'm not saying she's bad, and I'm not shaming anyone for playing She-Hulk. And I know there are defenders, and I'm glad that they enjoy it. You know, a lot of people look at Vision and think, man, this is just like gathering dust in my box. But man, I'm here for it. I will play that all the time. So different strokes, different folks. But for me, this is She-Hulk's kind of a miss. Crowpammer, what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, overall, I think I'm close to you guys, but I'm a little bit higher on her than you guys are. I mean, I think of it as like, you know, if like you're not a roller coaster person and you watch people on a roller coaster and they're screaming and having a great time, you can think like, oh, I see the fun there. Maybe it's not for me. I'm not going to go on that roller coaster, but I can see the fun. Yeah. So, you know, it feels a little bit like that for me, where like early on for a core set hero, you have alter ego thwart, you have like lessons in flipping. I feel like, you know, they were trying to tell you to flip more. And so those types of things, I can see why people would be hooked to She-Hulk, saying like, oh, for when she came out and what she does, her support that thwarts an alter ego is still fun. Flipping up and getting the 2 free damage is a lot of fun. And I find those things fun as well. So building the deck was it was a neat experience, having to try to find things that were fun for me to play for She-Hulk. And it made me appreciate her more for when she was designed. So I think I'm a little bit higher on her than you guys are, but it's not a hero I'm going to go revisit frequently.
Yeah, and I don't have an affinity for the character. Like, I don't really care about She-Hulk, so that also plays into it. I think your roller coaster analogy is really, really good. There's a lot of times when I'm playing at a multiplayer table and I see someone playing a hero that I don't play very often, and I'm like, oh man, that looks really fun. I should try it. And then I try it and I'm like, I don't know what, if I'm doing it wrong or something, but this is not fun.
Same.
And for me, and Magic is among those, quite honestly, for me. I see people playing Magic, and I'm like, oh, that looks really cool. And then I play it, and I'm like, okay, wait, if I put this on top, and then no, hold on, I go back. I need to make sure this ends on top, so I have to do this first, and then I'm going to have to blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, I don't care, man. Like, give me Jubilee. Let me slap some resources down and play expensive events and just kill people. And Magic can be fun. I'm not saying it, but like I never have as much fun with it as I see people like the true Magic believers. And She-Hulk is one of those. People will shout from the rooftops how good She-Hulk is, and I'm like, cool. And then I try it, and I'm like, what am I missing? Because this card's unplayable. This card's unplayable. This card I haven't seen all game because there's only one of them. Like, what is happening?
I will say I've had Ground Stomp and Legal Practice both be clutch in my deck testing, playing for She-Hulk. So as bad as they are, sometimes you got to play bad cards because it's all you got. And it's fair. Like, hey, it sucked, but it worked this time.
And I should watch what I say, because I am on record saying there are no bad cards. There are no unplayable cards. They're just cards that you have not found a situation for yet. And so maybe that's the case here. I just have not found the situation where Legal Practice is going to save the game. I do think her hero card is cool. I will say that. Like, her eye objectability is really cool. And the Do You Even Lift is a cool ability. Like, I think her hero card and the stuff that she can do there is really interesting. So, and Superhuman Law Division is also cool.
Yep.
Okay, let's talk about some decks now. So we've done all of that. If you don't care about the decks we have, you can sign off now, and it's been great having you. But otherwise, let's do this. I will give Crop Amber the option. Do you want to have your deck first, or do you want to go second?
I'll go first. Let's get it over with.
So here is your deck. Crop Amber, if you would read this for us, please.
Sure. So this is a She-Hulk Justice deck. And I called it On Demand Gamma Slam. So has 7 allies. I'm sorry, Lazy Titan. Blindfold, Dazzler, Eros. Hellcat comes with her kit. Marvel Girl, Monica Chang, and Professor X. And then only 3 events, just 3 limitless staminas and all the ones that she comes with. And then the focus of the deck was the player side scheme here, Generation X, and then Energy Genius Strength, 2 Powers of Justice. The supports are Quinn Carrier and Surveillance Team. And then her upgrades are Death Focus, 2 Disguise, Endurance, obviously, Skilled Investigator, Sonic Rifle, Sting Operation, and Under Surveillance.
Okay, so talk us through the deck here. What's the strategy?
So, I had to build a deck that was focused on Gamma Slam, and I kind of went through several iterations of different aspects trying to make Gamma Slam work the best. And I tried protection, just trying to meter her health better, taking hits with energy barriers, things like that. But just found it was too much to set up, and then I wasn't getting Gamma Slam when I wanted it. And then aggression, I was just winning the game too fast when I was playing. I was either winning or losing too fast before I was able to do Gamma Slam stuff. So, this led me to Generation X, which is when defeated, you can pull an identity specific event from your deck or discard pile and add it to your hand. So I put a bunch of X-Men allies because they get +1 thwart for thwarting against Generation X. And so basically the entire idea of the deck is to sit in alter ego. Not sit in alter ego, you're flipping quite a bit actually, but you flip up, maybe put down a focus rage, meter your health with your focus rage, taking hits to the face, coming back down, sitting in alter ego a little bit longer, and then just whittling the villain's health down until you're ready to pull off like that perfect Gamma Slam. You can easily clear Generation X and alter ego with Superhuman Law Division or an X-Men ally, come up, do your Gamma Slam, win the game. That's the whole shtick there.
Okay, Lazy Titan, what do you think? Feedback here.
I like it. That it fills in the one issue that we most frequently said about She-Hulk and Gamma Slam, is that the one of. So being able to find it whenever you can play it and can use it is good. I will say, even with Generation X, there will be some times where you only have 3 resources to spare, and you have the perfect health. You're at 1, but you don't have enough resources, or the other way around. But this obviously cuts that down a lot. I think She-Hulk Disguise is cool. The confusing is obviously good. Lets you use your flipping, because her eye object ability negates her own threat, the one per player threat every turn. So for most main schemes, she can just cut herself out of the equation, which is super nice. So if their villain's confused in true solo, sometimes you won't even add threat, which is always interesting. But you still are beholden to the limits of the character. And you do just, with limitless stamina and 1-2 punch, you have 6 ways to ready and punch for more. Yeah. So you can also always just do it the gentleman's way.
You can always thwart like a gentleman. No, I think this is really good. I like that you put in some confuse here, allowing you to flip down pretty consistently. That is the hallmark of a true solo player, looking for those. Disguise is cool, right? I just think you can stay in alter ego a lot with this, with the confuses, and then on top of that, you have superhuman law division, eye object, and disguise is like a lot of ways to remove threat and alter ego, so you're going to burn through cards quicker to find those good ones. So no, it's good. I like this. I will share this, of course, as I always do, on the deck that I create. I publish a deck every episode that goes with it. It'll be live the day that this goes up, this podcast airs, and I'll have that. And as always, people, please send me your decks, send me your deck lists, either on Discord, via email, or whatever, or just leave a comment on my deck with the title of your deck or the link to yours down below, and I'll add it in. And don't be shy. Drop a like on my deck. I'm not farming for fake points on Marvel CDB. I think it just makes it easier to find these community decks, which is the whole point.
You don't get paid for the hearts like I do?
I do not get paid, no.
Well, sorry about that.
I know. I need to monetize my Marvel CDB. Yeah. Okay. Well, I will... let me stop sharing here. I will share my deck and we'll go through it quickly. I know everyone has heard me talk about so many She-Hulk decks at this point, but let's jump into it. So I built a aggression deck, another aggression one. I try to do different aspects every week, but I ended up with aggression here. So this was called Phi Slama Gamma. That is a deep cut reference, if you understand where that comes from. Good on you. But I tried to focus on Gamma Slam here. So I'll read through the deck. It's aggression. It has Angela, Throg, and Winter Soldier. It has 2 copies of Bring It, 2 copies of You'll Pay for That, 3 copies of Spoiling for a Fight, and 3 Toe-to-Toe. I have 2 player side schemes, Keep Up the Pressure and Superpower Training. The 3 basic doubles, Energy, Genius, and Strength. Avengers Mansion, Quinn Carrier. I have 2 copies of Aggressive Stance, 1 copy of Blood Rage, 1 copy of Death Focus, 1 Martial Prowess, and 1 Symbiote Suit, which, yes, hypocrite alert, that is the one I said earlier in the episode I don't like all that much, but here it is very purposeful. So the idea of this is to use Gamma Slam, obviously. So we want to be able to find Gamma Slam, so Keep Up the Pressure helps us with that, but Aggressive Stance is the big one here. This is a new preparation that I can play out, and when you engage a minion, I can search my deck only for an attack event. So Spoiling for a Fight helps me to control that, so I can play Aggressive Stance out, spoil for a fight when I know it's not on my discard pile, and go get Gamma Slam. Symbiote Suit gives us all the things we need. Extra cards, which is helpful for her. It gives us extra stats for a hero who wants to basic attack a lot. And it gives me extra hit points so that I can stay safely at that 15 maximum and not feel like I'm going to lose any second. And then just resource generators, Martial Prowess, Death Focus, Quinn Carrier. Focused Rage, essentially it's just another Blood Rage, except Blood Rage you have to defeat someone with a basic attack. That's easy enough. So we're going to hit our health and also draw cards there. And then I have these side schemes for a character who can't really thwart very well. That's what You'll Pay for That is for. So You'll Pay for That. When a villain attacks you, I remove a threat from a scheme for each damage I took. So I can control that. Also with Toe-to-Toe, I can choose an enemy to attack me, give me the villain, and then I can take enough damage to try to clear some of these side schemes, control that a little bit. And Bring It, since there's going to be some minions anyway, and I will tutor out some minions on top of that, Bring It allows me to benefit from that as much as possible. Or if they're low health, I can leave them there to both take it from Bring It and then also draw from Blood Rage when I kill them. These minions or these allies I have, Angela helps me find one and gives me 2 attack. Throg is just, we've talked about Throg, 10 out of 10 ally. I love Throg. He just allows me to get a tough card, fend extra. And then Winter Soldier, a pretty new one, but gives me a benefit for also defeating those minions. So if I don't do it myself, then he can defeat them and helps me clear some threats. If you're playing in true solo, this does have some threat control here to help you stay in the game. So that's this deck here. Phi Slama Gamma, I will publish it. But either of you have anything you want to say about this deck before I wrap it up?
I really like the minion summoning stuff here. It kind of gives you something to do with your aggression stuff until you're ready to do the Gamma Slam. I think, I tried aggression and my biggest thing was saying I was winning too fast or losing too fast before I was ready to do the Gamma Slam. But this is cool where like you're getting benefits from the minions and it also kind of gives you something to do as you're building for that final Gamma Slam. So it's pretty neat.
LT?
I agree. I like Aggressive Stance. Aggressive Stance is a card that I have been wanting to use more of. I think that's super fun. Great way to use it, again, to find the Gamma Slam to negate its biggest thing. I've always been an Angela lover. I'm a big Angela guy. Obviously, Throg's great. You'll pay for that as a card that I don't put into a lot of decks, but always think about because it's fun. Toe-to-toe, one of the sleeper hits of aggression. I slept on it for a while, but just a great minion killing card.
Huge fan.
Deletes a lot of minions for usually about 2 damage, which is fine. Take 2 damage to kill a minion because now that you get so many payoffs for that, you get all your, if you have marked on it, you get your overkills, you get your card if you're rocket, you get all kinds of bonuses for killing minions now. Love that. Love to see Blood Rage. Huge fan. And I think these decks are good examples of, like we were saying, the roller coaster analogy of She-Hulk doesn't look super fun to some of us, but a lot of people will like her. And I think that's where the distinction between good and fun comes in. Some people will say that She-Hulk isn't good. I think that's objectively true. I think if you look at a list of all the heroes in the game, I think She-Hulk is bottom 25 or lower. But I think if you have fun with her, that's for you. So if you come to me in the Discord and you say She-Hulk is the best hero in the game, I'm gonna flame you because you're wrong, and you shouldn't do that. But if you come to me and say She-Hulk is my favorite hero in the game, I'm not gonna fight you on that. That's for you, and you can love She-Hulk until whatever time measurement you want. That's good for you, man. I don't like it, but that's for you. But that's, I think, the important distinction here.
One of the things that I've also learned, and I think that the core set tried to teach you a little bit with She-Hulk, is treating your health as just much more of a resource. And so in this deck, I tried to leverage that, which is one of her strengths, right? She has a lot of hit points. So use that to, I trade, you'll pay for that. I just trade damage for thwarting. Toe-to-toe, I just trade damage for damage back at you. Blood Rage and Focus Rage, I'm just going to trade my health for cards. So just finding ways to use all the resources she has, because she doesn't have a ton of cards in her hand a lot. But if you can use her health, much like her cousin, he does it worse because he does everything worse.
Oh, no.
But just using that as a way to another resource that you have. So again, I will publish this. If you're listening and you like these decks, please consider logging into Marvel CDB and slapping a like on it. I think that helps make these more visible, because oftentimes we have 20 plus decks that people submit that I, go through it, add into the description so everybody can find them. I put it right at the top. So dropping a like does help people to find those. Again, I'm really not farming for fake points. That's just a byproduct here. So anyway, I hope people like these decks. Play Craphammer's deck, play my deck. That's what the whole game is about. Play decks and have fun. And that's kind of it. I will give Craphammer one more chance to remind everybody where you can find him, where you can get his content before we sign off. So Craphammer, where do people find you?
I just want to say I had a ton of fun. Thank you guys for having me. Really appreciate it. You can find me Spotify, YouTube, wherever you get your podcasts. You just look us up, Stunned and Confused, and we're there.
Awesome. Yeah, it was great to have you here, man. Thanks for coming along for the ride. We would love to have you back again. I listen to your podcast all the time. big fan. So keep up the great work, and we will have you back someday to discuss maybe a card we all like a little bit better.
No more She-Hulk.
No more She-Hulk. We're done. But all right. Thanks everybody for watching. If you enjoyed the deep dive on She-Hulk, let me know. We can do more deep dives on more heroes. There's a lot of heroes to choose from. So if there's one you'd like to see, leave a comment and let me know which one you'd like to see next, and we will do another one. So thank you for everyone who watched and who listened, and we'll see you in the next episode. Bye, everybody.
Later.